I define growth as a systematically arranged list of steps to follow for prosperity. I make sure that growth is not only the thing I think about when I wake up, but the force in every act that I portray, the standing on business that I have every day. That growth is the only thing I look forward to. Growth is very detailed in explanation. It can be defined in many different ways. You have growth as a man, from a boy to a man. You have growth as a girl to a woman. Those are different types of growth that, we generally discuss. Maybe we were mannish at a point, childish, looking at women as toys, disposable things. And then you become a man. You look at a woman as someone to take care of, someone to protect and provide for. That's growing. As far as like seeds, there are also different seeds that can grow. You can plant different trees, different flowers, different bushels. Different things grow, especially with the proper nutrients given. Got sunlight, and got good water, good soil. And at that point, the chances of it growing depends on how much you take care of it. So that goes for anything, as far as the human body, the human vessel, or we look at vegetation as well. From a caterpillar to a butterfly, that growth is just as important. From a child to a man, a caterpillar once was this greedy, hungry substance that would just maneuver around day in and day out and eat everything in sight, until one day it goes into a cocoon. And once it leaves that cocoon, it comes out a beautiful butterfly. And I think that's part of the reason growth is very important, because we spend our time evolving. That's what that caterpillar to the butterfly analogy is. That caterpillar spent time evolving, spent a lot of time eating and dwelling and learning the lands that surround him, but he couldn't fly. That same caterpillar couldn't flutter across the lands. He had to crawl from tree to tree, branch to branch, and make the most out of what he had, until he grew and evolved into something more beautiful and more profound. Something that wouldn't get flicked off the tree, but picked up off the tree and held on to. Some people want to capture him now because he's a butterfly. And that is growth. That is how I look at growth. And that is how I, measure my growth. Measure your growth in the aspect of elevation. How much are you changing? How much are you growing? Don't say you grow because, every day I'm a new person. No, you're not. You have to put in the work to be a new person daily. That caterpillar didn't just become a butterfly. He just didn't magically make it happen. That's the process of life. When I look at myself in my childhood to my adulthood, that's huge growth. As a child, the ways I looked at my parents or looked up to my parents seeking knowledge or wisdom or protection. Looking at yourself as a child, there's many things you repeat, many mistakes you just keep on going through because you're just learning. But then as you grow older, you get out of those things. For example, as a as a young man, I messed and dabbled with a lot of young women, but at a certain point, that changed. Juan in 2018 and before ain't the same Juan after 2018 up until now. That guy beforehand dealt with a lot of hurt, still was hanging on to childlike things, still finding himself, not really loving himself. That version of Juan was still young mentally and needed to heal, needed to grow and learn more about himself, needed to evolve physically, spiritually, get closer to God. Those are different aspects of growth as well. Those are the ones I cherish and linger on to. The growth with yourself spiritually, when you evolve into a more profound spiritual entity connected to God, you learn that some of the mistakes you made prior to was just you overthinking, or was just you not giving yourself enough room to grow. We all need room to grow. It's okay to make mistakes, or, some days you wake up and don't want to go after it. That's okay. But when you wake up every day and don't want to go after it, when you wake up consecutively and don't want to get after it, at that point, now you are not growing. And that is something I can't stand for. I stand for growth and change and the betterment of self. That's really the most important thing. Growth starts within, because you sit there and you look in the mirror day in and day out. You find those subtle mistakes or big mistakes. You find those huge problems or those small little things that you have to change. Every single day it pops up. Might be something new, might be something old, and it's on you to make the change. It's on you to give the room to grow. It's not something somebody forces on you. You don't see anybody in these videos with me. I'm mainly by myself, because I am forcing myself to grow. I am forcing myself to heal. Growth starts within. I'm looking within day in and day out, and I'm dealing with me and asking myself, how can I heal? Am I my best version? Am I the best version of me? Can I be better? If I have no answer to these questions, or if I'm still seeking answers, guess what? I'm still growing, which to me is a benefit, because you shouldn't stop growing. There's no point in ending growth. Growth is something that should be inevitable all the way until you pass. You should always make room to learn and grow as a person. And that's really what's pushed me here. If you look at my YouTube page, you'll notice Growth Starts Within was the first YouTube I actually made 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And this was a series I started then. And now, if you look at the difference, not only in my tonality, in my statements, in my charisma, in the way I carry myself, it's completely different. I'm not the same person I was when I made that video, nor will I be the same person the next time I make the next video. Growth Starts Within is me healing consistently, not only to express it to you all, but to also put it on display for you to see. Growth starts within. It started within 5 to 6 years ago. What do you think it is now? Now it's being expelled outwardly. I want you all to see it. Take notice and take heed. I'm not just putting it on YouTube or just putting out reels or making, Instagram post or post that matter, motivational post on Facebook. That's not just what I'm doing. Those are pieces to the large puzzle, pieces to the bigger picture. This large picture I want us all to see is that growth starts within. Growth is the movement, forming or increasing as a natural development from minor American to a nation of people. That's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. A lot of y'all are going to miss that part, and that's okay too. My whole purpose in pushing everything that I love and doing all the things that matter to me is to express and showcase to my people that you can and you will do as great as you desire to, as great as you want to, when you put in an effort to grow and change. We have to grow interpersonally. We have to learn the better ways to love. Healing and love isn't just, we move to the next lover and we love again. No. We have to unlearn some things, relearn some things, learn what's better. We don't learn the bad side of love so much, or the toxic ways, that we just succumb to it. We accept that. That's not real love. Changing women into logical thinkers or men into emotional beings ain't real love. That's not genuine. That's not unconditional. The goal is to grow as a person and learn how to be whole, with or without anybody beside you. Growth is much deeper than looking in the mirror and saying, hey, I'm going to be better. No, it's not only saying, hey, I'm going to be better, but every action you move with forward has to be better. It has to be better than you did before, or the best you could ever do. That's part of growth. That's part. Because now you got to get deeper. You have to reflect. Growth ain't just a forward-thinking aspect. You have to also look in the past and be present. It's more than just a future move. You have to be all around aware of what's going on to grow. So in respect to my parents, that took time. That took more than enough time. Now, I wasn't 2018 one. You know, I went past 18, 19 and still had to learn more about my parents. I still had to learn more about God. Those two things aren't just gonna just fall in place. You know, you had to grow as a man to then reflect on what men should or move like or do move like. And then you reflect and you look at your father, the lessons he taught you. You appreciate that man as he is. And then you look deeper into his life and learn why he is the way he is. Now that is growth. That is deep growth. And that is the growth I implore us all to actually have within ourselves. Because without it, we don't really learn ourselves. You know, I'm learning to love myself daily, putting in the work consistently, whether I'm alone, whether I'm surrounded by people, whether I'm working on my basketball moves or writing. I'm learning how to love me wholeheartedly. And in that aspect, I'm getting to know me. In getting to know me, I'm learning the things I like, the things I love, how deep I will go for things, how far I will go for things. In some aspects, I won't go far. I won't do too much because that ain't for me. But in other aspects, I will go to the last breath. I will do my all, give it all, just so I can successfully say, I grew. I made sure I grew. When you just look at my body frame. It grew. Just look at my mindset. Listen to the words I'm using. Those things grew. Those things changed. But it didn't just change within me. I made sure it changed on the outside looking in, as well as on the inside looking out. Growth starts within, man.